What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 23 of The Rise of a Nation, here with FC Edmonton in the Canadian Premier League. Today, we're actually going to be kicking off our Continental campaign for the year. Yes, I've gone further forward than I ever anticipated. We've actually gone forward 9 games, so plenty to catch up on. But before we go any further, I have a quiz question for you. Here is our team for the season. There is a player missing. Can you spot the player who was in the team last time, who's not in the team this time? I'll give you a second. I know someone's going to cheat. We made a deadline deal, and it wasn't the kind of deal you would expect, perhaps. And it was right on the end of deadline day. Chandel Senior has left the club. He has gone on loan to Halifax. Yes, you might be getting a deja vu about this. Not dissimilar to the Nick Daly deal we did, but the 23-year-old had a loan offer where all his wages were going to be covered. It came in on deadline day, and the amount of money that Halifax were offering was just too good to refuse. They offered us £210,000 a week. I don't know what they're smoking in Halifax. That totals £4 million by the end of next season. He's on a longer term deal, so after the loan is over, there's every chance he can just come back to our team at the end of the 2023 season and have a further 2 years with us. He's been playing regularly for them and developing well. So I guess there's that. Obviously, that did leave a bit of a void in our team. The player we brought in to solve that void was Damano Solomon, of course, the player who we already had at the club. We actually loaned him out because we didn't have a foreign player slot. With that spot coming up, he is now our new defensive midfielder option. And, you can see, just looking at him here, yes, maybe his passing could be a tiny bit better, but he more than does the job, the 27-year-old, and in many ways he's probably better than Chandel Senior. Perhaps not quite as good going forward, but defensively, every bit the same player, if not, maybe a tiny little bit better. Anyway, that wasn't the only bit of kind of dealings we've done recently. We have had a load of players sign new deals at the club. Carlos Mora's signed a new deal, Alex Marshall signed a new deal, Duck signed a new deal, Fraser signed a new deal. And you can see all these players signing till the end of the 2026 season. So 4.5-year contracts for all of these players, locking down our players in their early 20s who play a massive role in our team to long-term contracts. Is just fantastic news, isn't it, for the long-term future of the team. One of our older players did sign a new contract as well, and that player is Ramon Soria. Now, of course, he has been falling off the cliff as a player recently. He had 1 year left of his current deal. We've offered him an extension, but as part of this extension, he has taken a wage cut, and he is going to be our under-21s assistant manager. So it's his first step on the managerial ladder. He's still got a little way to go, but as far as assistant managers go, he has some potential. I think he can come good. And obviously it's good to get some of our legends of the club kind of tied down into staff roles so that when he does choose to retire, be it at the end of this year or further forward, we are in a situation where we still have some of our classic players. Anyway, in terms of team news, I guess the thing to start with is the fixtures. Now, as I mentioned, we've played a lot of games since you were last here. Just to quickly cover the Canadian Championship, we're through to this next round. We've been drawn against Vancouver Whitecaps. That will probably be coming next episode. For the Continental competition today, we've been drawn against Verdes, who are a team from Belize. We should be annihilating them. Now, whether or not we do actually annihilate them, I guess we'll find out in due course. But of course, in this competition, there is no foreign player limit, so I can pretty much pick a team without restrictions. So that's kind of exciting to see what our team looks like when we're not, limited, I guess, in terms of our squad selection. Anyway, since you were last here, as I mentioned, 11 matches played. So we won't go through all of these. But following on from the Cavalry result, the first game we had, really less than ideal. It was a win for Forge FC against us. A team predicted to come second, and in front of almost 14,000 fans, Aubrey grabbed the goal for Forge. It was just a defensive howler from us, a throw-in thrown straight to them. And Forge getting an unlikely win perhaps. It's just worth noting actually, when you look at Forge's side, they have got a number of French players that they have signed. Some of these are regen, some of these are players in on loan. You can see they've got players like this guy, Bruno, who looks like a very good centre-back at 18. He was signed from Le Mans. Other players they've got in Samuel Renel, I think from Marseille. So I can only assume that they have some staff member who's part French, perhaps. I guess it's this guy, Reinders. I imagine he probably has part French knowledge. Yeah, you can see he has French and knowledge of Belgium and knowledge of Holland. That probably also explains the signing that they made. You might remember us talking about this guy, Henson. They signed him for £1.2 million last year. Complete flop. And, well, you can see he's not started this season that much better either, has he, the young Dutchman? It's not looking like the best spend of money from them. But yeah, very interesting to see Forge building this kind of European core to their team. Anyway, off the back of that game, we did bounce back with a win against Halifax. A big game for us and a 2-1 win. Nick Daly got us off to a flyer from the penalty spot. They then scored through Jonathan Bethelmy in the 56th minute. A really nice run, to be fair, after our own defensive error. And, well, fortunately for us, we were able to fight back in this game. Steve St. Duck grabbed his first goal of the season, if I'm not mistaken. He took it at the third time of asking, but it did eventually find the back of the net. They all count, and 2-1 is how that game finished. Just looking here, you can see Bethelmy. He is a young Trinidad and Tobago international who was signed by Halifax this year from Central for £27,000. You can see he's got 7 goals in 9 games for them. I think he might even be top goal scorer in the Canadian Premier League. He looks very, very good, to be fair to him. Maybe not the best technically, but in terms of his mentals and physicals, he is a fine specimen of a man. I'm hoping he's not going to be a player who becomes a thorn in our side. I have enough of a time dealing with Gutierrez in that Halifax side. So, yeah, hopefully it's not going to be a big deal. Anyway, after that game, you can see we took on Valor. We won 1-0 away from home. Alex Marshall with a goal in this game. Wim was sent off in this match, which was really disappointing because Wim here making his senior debut, I think he was at the time, and he got sent off on it. Not an ideal start, but the young striker has improved a hell of a lot. And well, you can probably expect him to be featuring in the first team sooner rather than later on a regular basis. Anyway, the next game we had was against Halifax. It was a 3-3 draw. Twice we came back in this game, the first time by 2 goals. In our first meeting against Halifax, where we won 2-1, we stuck with the 3-1-4-2 system, our normal tactical system. You might remember last year in the end of season playoffs, we kind of had to change things and go to the 4-2-3-1. That is a change I made during this game at half time, and it did help us out. It did help us get back into this game. Great to see Alex Marshall grab 2 goals. Danny Lovitz as well with the equaliser in the 77th minute for us at the second time, I guess, of us pulling them back to end this game 3-3. But yeah, I guess it was good to avoid defeat against Halifax, to be honest. This run of games has kind of been a bit weird. We've played, obviously, Cavalry 4 times so far this year, twice in the Canadian Championship. We've played Halifax twice, we've played York 9 twice, we've played Valor twice. There's not been a massive amount of variety in our opposition, so that is one of the reasons why it's been so long since we were last here. Anyway, you can see in our next game, we took on York 9 FC, and we won this game 2-0. Nick Daly and Ruiz with the goals for us. This was one of 2 times we played York 9 in the spring season. With the spring season being 10 matches and there being 6 teams in the league, there's a handful of the clubs within Canada that you play twice, and interestingly enough, for our season, we had to take on Halifax and York 9 twice in the spring season, which is almost a tiny bit unlucky because they are 2 of the teams who have been playing well. So it was good to get through this test with that 2-0 win. You can see, following on from that, a 1-0 win. Steve St. Duck with the goal for us in the 80th minute. And then to quickly run through the games that we had in June in the Canadian Championship, I already talked about it, but we lost actually in the first leg at home to Cavalry 2-1. 2 goals conceded in extra time was a bit of a disaster. We then took them on midweek in the league. Nick Daly got a goal before Carducci had an own goal. The goalkeeper, a tiny bit unfortunate as a shot cannoned off the woodwork, hit him on the back and went in. The game after that, we turned things around in the second leg, a 3-0 win. Good to see Jordan Hamilton getting on the score sheet here. He's been a player in some fine form as of late. And he's also broken into the Canadian team whilst playing for FC Edmonton, which is really cool to see. You can see Hamilton and also Bitar here, who is a player who plays for Cavalry, the 2 sole representatives of the Canadian Premier League in the men's national team right now. But good to see some progress being made on that front. And yeah, Hamilton's form has been very good as of late. You can see he grabbed another brace against Pacific in a 3-1 win. And then in a 1-0 win against Valor, he got the sole goal again there. So, what does that mean for our spring season? Well, you might have noticed our form was very, very solid. We did end up topping the league by 5 points over Halifax, 1 draw, 1 loss, 8 wins, only 6 goals conceded in 10, which is really, really impressive. Interesting to see Valor scored 6, conceded 7, in 10 matches. That's crazy. That is actually crazy by Valour, the fact they scored so little and conceded so little and just didn't do that great. They lost by narrow margins, I guess. Obviously, it's all kind of been go here at the club. We've had the new contracts being signed. The Shandell Senior deal was one that I just couldn't refuse. A total of £4 million being offered by one of our big rivals. Yes, all day, every day, I was going to take that. Worth noting, you can see this year we're actually making a profit as things stand. We're right at the end of June. It's been a somewhat unusual month in the sense that we've had quite a lot of home games during this little run, and we've actually got another one today. But you can see our income this month has been £731,000. Our expenditure just shy of £500,000. So we are making profit finally. Our overall balance, you can see, sits in the black. Yes, we are actually turning profitable thanks to all our various loan deals, and obviously a big contributor to that is the Shandell Senior deal. Every month right now we're receiving £370,000 through all the loan deals we've got going on. So I'm a very happy bunny for kind of obvious reasons, and well, it's only ever going to benefit our finances longer term, the loan deals that we've got going on right now. I did work out, by the way, why our value has spiked up. It's of course because we've got our new stadium being built. That is a new asset that we have at the club, still due to be finished at the end of January of next year. I would like to, ideally, if we can continue to improve our finances, invest some of that money into our facilities to hopefully get them upgraded, because besides upgrading our junior coaching, our youth recruitment, and I think our youth facilities on one occasion, we've not done a great deal of investment into the longer term future here at the club. But anyway, shall we get into today's game? Team selection so far this year has been fairly rotated, not entirely surprising there. You can see we've had a real variety of people playing for us. The only man yet to make an appearance for us this year is Peter Shale, who we signed on a free transfer at the start of the year. Really brought him in as a backup of all backups, kind of centre-backs. He's fine, he's good, he's on £350 a week. It's a very small amount of money, you know, not overly concerned by him. And then you can see behind him Edwini Bonsu and Norman, just two players who haven't played a great deal. Worth noting, a lot of players' determination has been improving as of late. If I just flick through, you might notice, this is where it's a bad example, but yeah, a lot of determination has been just notably going up through kind of recent times. You can see players like Oyamada here continuing to improve. It's really good to see. Obviously, when we first joined the club, it was one of my big concerns. Through virtue, I guess, of signing more experienced players, some players with very, very good determination, the overall squad personality is on the up, and we are getting a more and more determined squad, which is obviously absolutely fantastic for us. Anyway, in terms of selection for today's game, as I mentioned, we're not kind of limited by foreign players in this competition, which is kind of exciting. In goal, we're going to go with Kevin Williams. The youngster has been complaining about lack of first-team football. I'm going to give Connor James a rest against a Belize club. We should be annihilating them, so I'm not overly concerned about the goalkeeper position. Left centre-back, we are going to go with ABZ. One thing I didn't touch upon with this guy is the fact he is either-footed, which is absolutely lovely to have in a centre-back option. So he's going to play at left centre-back. At right centre-back, we're going to go with Oyamada. In the centre, we're going to go with Fraser, of course, new vice-captain, recently signed a new deal at the club. Soria's long-term successor. I really like the look of this guy. Very, very solid. Still training him to play centre-back. Hopefully he will get natural at it sooner rather than later. At centre defensive mid, we're going to go with Solomon. His performances in the league have been a tiny bit disappointing, I guess, as the ball-winning midfielder for us. We have done a little bit of rotation to overcome that. Normally, Kay would play that defensive mid position. Unfortunately, he is out at left mid for us today. And the reason for that is the fact that Danny Lovett has been out with a long-term injury. He broke his toe. He's been out for 5 weeks so far and still a few more weeks out. As you might remember me talking about last episode, left mid was really the one position I had concerns with. Leon here has slotted in at left mid a few times. He's not really set the world alight either. I feel like Kay is just a little better suited to this role, especially because it does have some defensive responsibilities and it's an element of his game that he definitely has talent in. Anyway, on the right, of course, we have Ruiz. Due to the lack of foreign player rules, we can have Marshall and Mora starting today's game with no concerns whatsoever. Alex Marshall, by the way, 4 goals in the league in 5 games. He has been in top form for us. Hopefully he can keep that going today. Mora is going to be to his right as a centre mid on support. Then up top for today's game, we're going to go with Jordan Hamilton. and alongside him we're going to go with Nick Daly. That does mean that St Duck is on the bench. Vim is also on the bench for us. We have Deshays and Mossavat, the two hometown heroes. Two players who have improved a lot so far this year, really trying to bed them into the team now as our two backup centre mids, and to be fair, they've benefited from that. We've got Caden Chung, Leon, and also Opare on the bench for today's game. Anyway, let's see how we go on. This is the first leg. We'll see how things go. If we absolutely annihilate them, I might be half tempted to not do the second leg as a live com, just because it might just turn into a bit of a bloodbath. I'm not sure what we'll do in that eventuality. I've not really planned around it. Just so you can get an idea of their player quality. They've got some players here who aren't fake. You can kind of see the quality that they possess. The Belize national team is not a national team I'm familiar with by any means. They've got a few regens here who I noticed are playing for them. It would be fair to say that we should be beating them very convincingly here in this first preliminary round. Of course, just as a reminder, the North American League is the precursor to the North American Champions League. This is a knockout competition. If you make it to the quarterfinals, if you make it to the semi-finals, you're guaranteed a spot in the North American Champions League in January. If you finish in the quarterfinals but lose, you go into a playoff with the other losers of the quarterfinalists, and if you can win your one playoff game against one of the other three quarterfinal losers, you also get a spot in the Champions League. And I think that has to be the aim this year. We absolutely have to be kind of striding towards that. We want to be aiming for the North American Champions League, I feel like, on a regular basis. That is the vision here at the club. Really would help the Canadian Premier League reputation, and hopefully with that, we'd all benefit within the league itself through bigger appearances. And we have a chance here. Ruiz, lovely finish. Marshall with the assist, picking things up where he left it last episode. Marshall. But yeah, obviously the long-term challenge with this series, we call it the Rise of a Nation, is I want to see the whole of Canada benefit. I'd love to see a situation where the Canadian Premier League is one of the big leagues in the CONCACAF region. I want to see it up there. It's going to be difficult to get up there with, the likes of Liga MX and MLS, but certainly firmly establishing it as the third best league in the continent would be a big aim for me, I feel like. And also, of course, seeing the Canadian national team benefit too. Anyway, we have a chance here. Daily back post to Hamilton, who hits the woodwork. Keeper, not the most convincing of saves, but they have managed to scoop it away. Unfortunately, from that clearance, the next highlight begins. Ruiz whips it in all the way to the back post. Hamilton probably could have left that to Kay, but he's elected to get it himself. He puts it into the middle. Marshall's there. Lays it off to Solomon. That's a lovely goal. Nick Daly with the assist. It's the Shandell senior replacement, the Solomon. It's Solomon. I like his name. I feel like there's a Han Solo pun in there. Damano. I'm not going to do anything Star Wars related. Let's not do it. Anyway, Nick Daly with the assist. Solomon tucks it home. The number 16. Welcome back to the team. A player who we loaned out at the start this year. I wasn't convinced I had a spot for him in the team due to the foreign player limits, due to the fact that we had 7 players already. But with the Shandell Senior loan deal just being too good to refuse, it was kind of nice. It was one of the few players who I didn't really have to panic about. We had a ready-made replacement, and Marshall's just got another assist. Daly's now got a goal to his name. It's only his 4th of the season. One thing I've not really talked about is the fact that from a goal-scoring perspective, we've been a little... I don't want to say we've not been good, but Nick Daly, Duck and Hamilton... I guess Hamilton's found form recently, but when I look at Duck and Daly, who started the year as our main 2 strikers, they have been a little quiet on the goal-scoring front, especially for a team who finished top of their group so convincingly. In the league, that is, when I say the group. But at the same time, the goals have kind of just come from everywhere. Alex Marshall has just been instrumental this year. When he signed a new contract with the club, the fans were unconvinced he deserved a new one. I feel like they have to be convinced now. He's just been top draw for us, the number 98. And speaking of the devil, here he is on the ball, going back to ABZ, the Ivorian international. We talked about his international caps. I actually think they came playing for the B team. Daly to Ruiz could get his 2nd of the game here, wide of the post. But yes, I think Ruiz, and actually I think it might be the case with ABZ, 2 players with international caps, I think they might have got them for their national team's B teams. Do they count as caps? I think Football Manager does count them as caps, but do you count them as caps? They look good on the profile. It looks more impressive. Ruiz is chopped down. Nick Daly with a chance from the penalty spot. A chance to make it 4-0 here against Verdez. I'm thinking we might just keep this to one leg today, folks. I'm sorry to disappoint you if you were hoping for a longer episode, but this could be a long day at the office for Verdez. To be fair, they have a very nice badge. That's the silver lining I'm finding for them right now, is the fact they have a nice badge. Anyway, Daly scores to make it his second goal of the game. He's going to want a very, very quick hat-trick here. He got his first goal in the 26th minute. Could he get a 5-minute hat-trick? Can Kay pick him out? He can. Daly's there, wrong side of the post. You thought he was about to do it. You thought he was about to do the quickest hat-trick in North American League history. Unfortunately, he has been denied today. Although we have another chance here. Marshall puts it on a plate. Who's it going to fall to? Ends up with ABZ here. How do we feel about the ABZ nickname? It's a lot easier to say than his actual name. And it kind of sounds good. In my head, it sounds good. Sounds like I'm incorrectly saying the alphabet. Like I'm getting bored after 2 letters and just skipping to the end. Anyway, Kay here, bringing the ball forward. Can he get it in? He doesn't need to. He's going on his own. It falls to Hamilton. It's his 6th of the year. It's 5-0. I feel bad for Verdez. I feel bad. Are we the bad guys? Kay cuts inside, breaks past his man, hits it, saved by Moreira. Unfortunately, it falls straight to the path of Jordan Hamilton, who grabs a goal. I mean, we're looking to get 6 before half-time. Part of me feels bad. Mora's bringing it forward. Options onto his right. It's Daly for the hat-trick. Saved away. To be fair, the keeper is not giving up here. 3 clear-cut chances, 5 half chances. It's almost disappointing that we've only managed to muster up 5 goals so far. Moreira in goal for them. He is... well, he's not going down without a fight, it would be fair to say. Anyway, it looks like at half-time, I want to say it's only going to be 5-0. We've had 34 shots in one half. I promise you that not all the games are going to be like this. Of course, this competition draws in all the teams from all over the North American region. So we are going to have the likes of a team representing Belize. There's going to be the bigger Costa Rican sides. There's going to be the El Salvador sides, the Honduran sides. They have good quality. We learned that last year. Well, actually, the year before last against Alajuelense. I've definitely not said that name correctly. But we all know the team I'm talking about. They actually ended up winning the whole thing, you might remember. And I feel like we did pretty well against them 2 years ago, considering where we were at. Since then, the squad has improved a hell of a lot. And that's hopefully going to show in the campaign here. Of course, we missed out on a chance to view our yearly progress last year due to not actually qualifying for this competition. But right here, right now, we're maybe painting a target on our back. We're getting people to take notice. Ruiz has just done a front flip. He's just done a front flip. Is it weird that I haven't noticed that celebration before? That wasn't a forward roll. He literally flipped. It's his 4th goal of the year. It's his 2nd of the game. He's going to want a hat-trick as well, you'd imagine, at this point. And what can we build here? Mora at the back. Now with Marshall. Loads of space ahead. Goes wide to Kay. Breaks past his man. Puts it in. Hamilton gets his 2nd of the game. We've got players queuing up for hat-tricks. Only 55 minutes gone. I'm going to do a shout. I'm going to demand more. Why not demand more? I kind of feel bad for them. Marshall spreads the play wide. Mark Anthony Kay puts the ball on a plate. Not playing in his natural position out on the left-hand side. But actually, he's done really, really well there. You can see he's got 2 assists from that position. The whole team's played rather well. I was about to make a change and then a highlight started. I think we might take off a player or 2 here. Kay whips in the ball. Daly's there. He's got his 4th. He's laughing. What do I want to do here? I don't really want to take off players. I'm going to take off Mora. He's been a bit quiet. We're going to bring in Deshays. And then at the back, you know what? We'll take off ABC and bring in Apare. Because I'm kind like that. I feel bad taking off all the players who have got assists or goals. It's 8-0. We could be... There is danger of double figures. I didn't know what to expect coming into this. Obviously, their team is significantly worse than ours. I'm pretty pleased that we're doing a very professional job here and just getting it done. Apparently, their players are looking disinterested. The average ratings aren't looking too promising for them, I'm going to be honest. They've now also used all their subs. Interesting that they made a sub in the first minute and then they subbed off the player they brought on in the 54th minute. Anyway, Kane now looking for his 4th assist from out on the left-hand side. Maybe not going to get it here. Ruiz is on a hat-trick. He's probably going to have a greedy shot. He pulls it to Daly. Daly's got 5. Are we the bad guys? I feel bad. I mean, it is a record win in FC Edmonton history. There's still a second leg to play. I'm not going to do it on camera because it just doesn't... It probably isn't suitable for YouTube. I don't want to get the video demonetized. Although from what we've just witnessed here, it might get demonetised because this is just not suitable for work viewing right now. We want 10k to Marshall. Hamilton crosses it in. He's actually scored it. I don't know if he meant it. He didn't mean it, did he? It said in bizarre fashion. He's got a hat-trick. It's a lovely finish. I want to believe he meant this. I don't know. Could the keeper have done better here? Marshall doesn't get given an assist for some reason. I think he's been robbed there. It's 10. It's actually 10. I'm going to shout and demand more from the players. Look at that, refocused. Very attacking now. Just go for it. I mean, look at it. Their striker's got a 4.9. Like, what's he done up top? Roland. I mean, bless him. He's just a virtual player. He's just a greyed out player. He doesn't have a family to go home to at the end of this. He's just going to vanish into the Football Manager abyss. Unfortunately, or rather fortunately, depending on how you want to view things, we are showing a degree of mercy here. It's only going to finish 10-0. The referee gave a free kick at the edge of the area and then was like, actually, you know what? Let's not do this anymore. 52 shots, 4 clear-cut chances, 9 half chances. It finished 10-0. 2 players got hat-tricks. Nick Daly, did he get 3 or I thought he got 5. Did he only get 4? I thought he got 5. Maybe the UI bugged out. Maybe it struggled to fit them all on. Did he only get 4? Can I not count? I guess I can't count. I swear he got 5. I'm going crazy. I don't want to watch the highlights again. Stop this game. No, we don't need to see that. I mean, that's a great little result. What we'll do then going into the next leg is we'll just completely rotate the team. Nick Daly, he's loving it. Maybe we'll keep Nick Daly on the pitch just so he can add more to his goal-scoring tally. You can see his off-the-ball and composure are both now at 12 alongside his finishing. He's looking like a lot more complete player, which is really exciting and really great to see just continued development by him. Hopefully that will continue. As I said, I'm not going to do the second leg. I'm not sure when the next round of the competition is going to be because we have got Vancouver Whitecaps scheduled in, but that might get rejigged around. Next episode, there is a chance that we will be doing the first leg of this game against Vancouver and the first leg of the North American League first round, which would be interesting. And then maybe we do a double header in the episode following that of the 2 second legs. What I do know for certain is there is lots of big games on the horizon, and hopefully I'll see you guys for them. If you have enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on it. I am sorry to any Verdes fans watching this video. It wasn't very pretty, was it? I feel bad. I feel bad. They're valued at 2.68 thousand. I mean, let's just end. I don't know how to feel. Right, cut the tape. I don't know if I'm allowed to upload this to YouTube. It's probably not suitable for work, but if you have enjoyed, do drop a like on it. I'll see you again soon. It is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.